Well, hey there, Mountain Bible Church. This is Mark Adams, and I am broadcasting from my cabin. These last several weeks have been quite remarkable, and we've had to learn how to live stream. And so I'm live streaming from my cabin. The typically John, well, always John has a little devotional guide that he includes with his sermon message, and I didn't prepare one, so I thought I'd use this Wednesday night to reflect on a passage I talked about during my sermon and to go a little bit deeper into that passage. The overall message of my sermon was that to find calm, we need to orientate our lives around God. And one of the ways that we do that is we meditate upon His works. But His delight is the law of the Lord, and on His law He meditates day and night. And in that meditation, we understand better how God is working in our lives, especially in the most stressful moments. And we then begin to recognize and sense and feel that calm that comes with walking with the Lord. One of the passages that I read from on that last Sunday was from Psalm 77, and you will remember this part. So I'll just read verses 11 through 14, and then we'll continue on with a little bit of a reflection on this. I will remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I will remember your wonders of old. I will ponder all your work and meditate on your mighty deeds. Your way, O God, is holy. What God is great like our God? You are the God who works wonders. You have made known your might among the peoples. So this psalm includes a confession. The psalmist has meditated upon God's ways. He's pondered God's ways. He's really examined and he's looked at, well, what has God done? How has God gotten me through the darkest moments of my life? And in that remembrance of God's works, he recognizes and is able to confess that he has made known his might among the peoples. We experience that, and meditating upon what God has done helps draw us in and helps us to understand God's might and his power, especially in times when we feel powerless and helpless. But I'll continue on in this psalm, verse 15. With your arm you redeemed your people, the children of Jacob and Joseph. The image of God's outstretched arm is a powerful image throughout the Psalms. It conveys that sense of strength, but it also conveys that sense of God reaching down and reaching into our history, reaching into our lives and affecting his power. His outstretched arm, he's reaching for us, and we can take comfort in his might and in his love that he has for us. The psalm continues, and it's really quite wonderful. I'll read to the end, so 16 through 20. When the waters saw you, O God, when the waters saw you, they were afraid. Indeed, the deep trembled. The clouds poured out water. The skies gave forth thunder. Your arrows flashed on every side. The crash of your thunder was in the whirlwind. Your lightnings lightened up the world. The earth trembled and shook. Your way was through the sea, your path through the great waters. Yet your footprints were unseen. You led your people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. So this is obviously hearkening back to the exodus of Israel from Egypt. And they needed the outstretched arm and the power of God to be redeemed from the oppression that is Egypt, that was Egypt. And so there's these wonderful images of God having command and power over nature. All things were created by him and through him and for him, it says in the scriptures. And we even see in the Gospels Jesus commanding nature, commanding the storms, the winds to be calm. Yet the exodus of Israel and all those moments that the disciples had with Jesus, they required faith because the storms were real. In the Gospels, when their little vessel is ready to capsize, that's real. The water is coming over them. They can feel it. They can feel the crush of the waves. They can feel the might of this nature that is against them. Those were real. Israel, when it was fleeing Egypt, the might of Pharaoh and his army, that was a real power. It was a power that struck fear in that part of the world. And to go forth, to step out into this storm, ultimately, the parting of the Red Sea, it had to be a momentous occasion. It had to be an incredible experience, but it also required faith. And one of the key passages I pull out of this is from verse 19. Yet your footprints were unseen. We have to trust in the unseen works of God as well. When the psalmist ponders what God has done, he's looking back in history, he's looking back on time, and he's pondering and he's meditating upon the things that God has accomplished. But he's also looking forward from where he stands. God, where are you taking me? Where are you leading me? How will I get through this? And we have to trust in the unseen works of God. Just as it says here in the psalm, yet your footprints were unseen. And that's the wonder and beauty of faith, that it's something that's real. It's something that is powerful. But it also it's invisible. It draws something out of us. It draws out of us a kind of faith that will indeed help us to endure the various tests that we face in life. And indeed, we're facing one of these tests. So just to close up for this short Wednesday devotion, perhaps we can reflect upon the unseen things of God, to look back on our life and wonder and ponder about those moments when God was working, but we didn't see how God was working, and to look forward now into the future, not knowing how this entire pandemic will play out and when our lives will return to normal, and recognize that there are the unseen works of God as well. And I like the image of the footprints because it suggests that he is going with us. Many of us are familiar with that poem, Footprints in the Sand, and there's two sets of footprints, one for the narrator and one is God's. But in the darkest moments of their lives, of their life, they recognized, or he recognized, that, well, wait a minute, there's only one set of footprints in the stand. God, where were you when I needed you most in those darkest times? And of course, if you're familiar with that poem, God replies, oh, in those moments, I never abandoned you, but I was carrying you. So the one set of footprints are God's. But in this psalm, it has the image of the unseen footprints of God, which suggests to us, which tells us, which teaches us, which encourages us to recognize the unseen things of God and to trust in a God who created the heavens and the earth, that he will carry us forth and ultimately into his hands. So I just wanted to offer this little Wednesday night devotion. Probably most of you who are watching this are watching the archived version. I didn't announce that I would do a Wednesday night devotion. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Sunday, I suppose figuratively speaking, because I'll be on one side of the camera and you'll be on the other side of the camera. But between us all is God, and God drawing us together. So I indeed do look forward to seeing you on Sunday in the Spirit of Christ. God bless.